Hello everyone, welcome back to Brain Power Classes. In the previous chapter, we studied climatic regions and understood how climate differs from one region to another. Now we are starting a new chapter, global climate change. In this chapter, we will understand how the Earth's temperature is changing, what global warming means, and what effects it can have on our planet. So, let's begin with the chapter. So, see figure 5.1. Can you tell? The graph in figure 5.1 shows the difference between the global average temperature of the 20th century and global monthly temperature from 1985 to 2015. And based on this graph, we have to answer a few questions listed below. So let's look at the first question. First question is, in which year is the difference the least? So observe the graph carefully. You can see the difference in temperature is least in 1985. The difference in temperature is least in the year 1985. Question 2 is, what is the difference between the mean temperature of the 20th century and temperature in 2015? So basically the difference between the mean temperature of the 20th century and the temperature in 2015 is 0. 0.8 degrees Celsius. Next question is, why do the temperatures differ in different months? So temperature differ in different months because of changes in season. The amount of sunlight received by the earth changes during seasons, causing changes in temperature. So let's begin with the geographical explanation. So, global climate change. Scientists around the world have collected more than a century of a temperature records. When these records are studied and compared, they show an important trend. The average temperature of the Earth's surface is increasing. So, the observation shows that the average surface air temperature of the Earth has increased by close to 0. 0.8 degrees Celsius over the last century. Now, you may think only 0. 0.8 degrees Celsius. Is that really a big change? To understand this, first let's look at the Earth's average temperature. So, Earth's average temperature. Before that, see below 58, page number 59, try this. Look at the following graph and answer the following questions. The graph shows global greenhouse gas emissions. So first question is, which of these gases has the highest contribution? You can see water vapor has the highest contribution. Second question is, which of these gases come from natural and man-made sources? So gases such as water vapor, methane, and nitrous oxide can come from natural as well as human activities. CO2 is also released naturally, but human activities are a major source of its increase. Third question is, which activities are responsible for their emission? Activities responsible for CO2 is emissions. CO2 emissions are burning fossil fuels such as coal, oil and gas, deforestation, industries, and transportation. Question 4 is, out of these, whose emission can be controlled by humans? So humans can significantly control CO2 emissions by reducing the use of fossil fuels, preventing deforestation, and using cleaner sources of energy. Now let's begin with the geographical explanation. So Earth's average temperature. The average temperature of the Earth is around 14 degrees Celsius. According to the observations, this average temperature has increased by approximately 0. 0.8 degrees Celsius. So, The average surface temperature of the earth is increasing, and scientists expect it to increase further. But what is causing this increase? One of the major reasons is the increasing effect of certain gases in the atmosphere, particularly carbon dioxide, methane, and other heat trapping gases. These gases increase the heat holding capacity of the atmosphere. In simple words, we can say that these gases allow the atmosphere to retain more heat. As more heat is retained, the temperature of the earth's surface increases. This phenomena is called the global warming. Now, one thing remember in this, increase in heat holding gases results more heat retained in atmosphere, and this results in rise in earth's temperature, and this is called the global warming. Now, one question. Is a zero point 0.8 degrees Celsius rise really a big concern? At first, zero point 0.8 degrees Celsius may look like a very small increase, but remember that we are talking about the average temperature of the entire earth. Even this seemingly small rise can produce major effects on the environment and human life. Now, let's look at the effect of global warming. Before that, before we begin with that, see figure 5.2. Look at the graph in figure 5.2 and answer the following questions. So look at the figure. So first question is, what does the graph show? The graph shows a continuous rise in global sea level from 1880 to 2018. Question 2 is, in which year is the change around 225 mm seen? 225 mm. So a change of around 225 mm is observed in 2018. Question 3 is, what conclusions can you draw from the graph? So see, the graph shows global sea level are rising continuously, and if global warming continues, sea levels are likely to rise further in the in the future. Question 4 is, what correlation can be seen between this graph and the graph of rising temperature? So positive relationship between global temperature and sea level is seen. As global temperature increases, sea level also rises, mainly because of the melting of ice and expansion of warmer warmer seawater. Now, let's see, let's look at the effects of global warming now. First is sea waves. The increase in the heat holding capacity of the atmosphere increases temperatures, especially during summer. So, as a result, summers can become more intense and even more dangerous. This can lead to the occurrence of hot spells or heat waves. A heat wave means a period of abnormally high temperatures. Now, see, there are two examples given here. First is Chicago heat wave in 1995 and Paris heat wave 2003. These heat waves resulted in the deaths of hundreds of people. So, global warming can make extreme summer temperatures more dangerous for human beings. Second effect is heat islands. Global warming can provide a background in which heat wave become even more severe, particularly in large cities. Now, why do cities become hotter? Urban areas contain a lot of concrete buildings, paved roads, other hard surfaces. So these surfaces absorb and retain heat more readily than natural areas such as fields and forest. Therefore, cities can become hotter than their surrounding areas. This is known as the urban heat island effect. And when global warming is combined with the urban heat island effect, temperatures in cities can become even more severe. So now this was our part 2. From in we have taken increase in sea level question answer and geographical explanation we will be seeing in part 2. So let's quickly revise what we did in part 1. Earth's average temperature is around 14 degrees Celsius. Rise during the last century is approximately 0.8 degrees Celsius. Major heat holding gases mentioned carbon dioxide and methane. Global warming means increase in Earth's temperature due to increased heat holding capacity of the atmosphere. Effects we have discussed, two effects we have discussed in part 1. First is heat waves, second is heat islands. So heat waves is more intense and dangerous hot spells, and heat islands are cities become hotter because concrete and paved surfaces retain heat. So, students, in part 1, we understood basic concept of global climate change, the rise in Earth's average temperature, global warming, and its first two major effects, heat waves and heat islands. In next part, part 2, we will continue with the remaining effects of global climate change, and till then keep learning, keep improving and keep growing with our brain power classes. See you in next video.